Hey guys, it's Kumamagi, and today I want to make a new show called Level-by-Level Analysis, where we take a look at video game level and analyze it by piece and the meaning and the design that go into a level within a video game. So today we're gonna start off with Dishonored. I'm planning to do this show first with Dishonored and maybe move it to other game later down the line. From now until the release of Dishonored 2, I'm gonna keep pumping out new videos talking about every level within Dishonored and do a level-by-level analysis of those levels. So yeah, what I'm hoping to do is by the time Dishonored 2 finally arrive and come out, we would have a level-by-level analysis for every level within Dishonored 1. So the first episode would start here, and you're in the right place if you're looking to see the level analysis for Dishonored. Well, let's start. So right now we're gonna look at the prologue level of Dishonored 1. So the game kicked off with the narration from Jessamine Corbin, who's the Empress of Dunwall at the time, and it gives you kind of the context of the story, and it gives you kind of like, okay, so she is the Empress, she know about Corvo and she seems to care about him, and she also gives implication about the rat plague and kind of the stuff that's going down in Dunwall, and it sounds pretty bad.
Corvo, if only there was someone else I trusted to send, so that you could remain near. But there is no one else, and the Spy Master was right to insist that I send you. The plague has taken so many, and we must find a cure. When you are near, my heart is at peace. Emily and I will count the days until you return. Hurry home, and bring good news.
Then we play as Corvo, and we get some exposition from the guard. We just come out of a mission to find a cure for the rat plague, which we didn't find, and the guard kind of gives the exposition about, whoa, it's actually kind of weird, you know, the situation we're in. You know, we sent the royal sector away just to figure out these plagues. It already kind of gives you the importance of the plague and the way in which it would happen within the story, you know, the significance that it has within the story.
Superstition. For all we know, there's a cure for the plague by now.
Maybe. We live in strange times. Sending the Empress's bodyguard away for a couple of months, that's unusual.
Well, this was important. We need help with the rat plague.
Then after some of those exposition, we start getting to move the camera around a little bit, and we start to get to see the environment, and the game does a really good job of doing environmental storytelling through the architectural design of the game. You know, you see this building design and kind of crazy design that you haven't seen before, and that kind of gives you the implication of what is happening within the world and the design that go within the world and the way in which you can kind of expect going forward that Dunwall is going to look like and the people who reside within it. And we also see some cool machinery that we obviously don't have in a real world, so we know like the fictional steampunk element of this game kind of exists. And we also see a boat with a whale hunting, so that kind of gives us the implication that, well, okay, there's hunting going on, there's whale hunting. You probably don't know yet why you hunting whale at that point, but it kind of gives you an implication of what's gonna happening next. After that and some of the introductory stuff, we finally met with Emily Corbin, the Empress daughter, and we met her in quite an interesting way. We got this interesting relationship implication just by the way in which they met, right? You know, most people greet each other by saying hi, you know, maybe they shake their hand, you know, maybe they fist bump each other, right? But you know, when it comes to Emily and Corvo, they hug each other, which is very emotional, and it kind of gives you the sense of father figure that Corvo is to Emily without saying a word, right? And that implication go well beyond the game, you know, not only just within the game, it actually go well after the game is ended, and a lot of people still have speculation, and those speculation are being confirmed way after the game is out. We just get those confirmations just right before Dishonored 2 actually come out. So it's interesting that the implication just start right as soon as the game start. We have this interesting relationship that we haven't figured out, kind of like the relationship where it kind of come from. Then we have a hide and seek moment, which developed the character of Emily a little bit. You know, you get to know more about her, and it also teach a player gameplay mechanic, which is a really interesting way to introduce shy character within the game. You know, a lot of people say shy characters are really boring and really, you know, obnoxious within movies and video games, you know, because it's hard to write interesting shy within video game. You know, a lot of children, they act and behave irrationally, and well, we all were children at some point, and so we kind of understand that because, well, our brain weren't too developed, and we have our own opinion and we want to do things and we don't understand too many concepts of the real world yet. But sometimes it just comes down to the whole that is like child liabilities to the main character within the game, you know, the main character of the story. So if you like the main characters, you obviously not gonna like the liabilities to the main characters who are, well, the child. And if you write the child to be too adult and you remove away the child essence and innocence that they have, then they might as well just be an adult characters, and that it's hard to write an interesting child character without being obnoxious or being too adult to the point where it's like, why don't you just write an adult character? Why are you, there's no point to write this as a child characters, right? So it's interesting that this game tries to tackle that with gameplay mechanic, which is really interesting because, well, video game is different from movies. We kind of established that quite a while ago. If you haven't watched my other video, I talk about comparison video game and movie all the time. It's different lie in the fact that when you go into a movie, the first thing you want to soak in is the storytelling, the characters, and just to get in the story, right? You want to know the story, you want to know what's going on. But when it comes to video game, the first thing you want to get to know is actually the mechanic of the game. So when you put tutorial or stuff like that let player learn the mechanic, it's also nice to gradually let player familiarize with the story as well, because when player jump into a game, they are not giving a damn about the story just yet. They want to be familiarize with the mechanic first, you know, to get used to mechanic first, get used to jumping, running, doing all kinds of moves, and you know, immersing themselves within the first person aspect of the game first, because, well, if they can't do that, they can't play the game, and if they can't play the game, they can't proceed within the story, and if they can't proceed within the story, there is no story to be told, right? And that's so different within movies, because in movie, if you are incapable of doing something, you still can watch the movie still keep going, right? If you don't understand certain concept, the movie just keep going, and you can skip that. If you don't like, you can skip forward in movie. In video game, that kind of get tricky because number one, you can't skip it. If you can't beat it, you can't move forward unless you use cheat code or stuff like that, right? So the difference is always there. So it's kind of cool that they combine the whole character design, character development with a tutorial for a game right into one, and it kind of gives you a sense of, well, okay, the mechanic is slowly being teaching me, but I also get to know about these characters a little bit as well. So it's a really cool way to do that. After that, we get to character introduction. Right after we walked up a little bit and we see a man painting another man. Sokolov is a painter, so by seeing him painting someone else, you kind of realize, oh, he's a painter, he's a good mind. He's probably someone like, you know, really smart. You know, if you look at his posture and kind of stuff and like the way in which he talks, you might feel a lot of those like, oh, okay, maybe he was like Leonardo da Vinci, right? Some of those artistic historical people within our history who are really, really smart, which if you have that guess, if you think that way, then you probably be right, because he is like the inventor. He invented a lot of stuff. You know, he is responsible for creating the elixir, and he's like the natural philosopher, and he invented a lot of stuff. So that kind of like the impression that you have from him, you know, from just seeing him from a little bit, and you probably is right. The game does a good job of kind of like implying like who he is as a character. At the same time, we also see Campbell as a character. You know, he's drawing Campbell, and Campbell is standing upright, and we see his painting, which Emily commented on, that it doesn't look like him at all.
I'm not so sure that painting looks like Campbell.
Which it actually does. I think the reason it does that is just to tell player to look at it. When someone tell you that something is really bad, look at that, look at that, look at that. If someone tell you don't look at this shit, right, you're probably gonna look at that shit because, well, it's fucking shit, right? But I think that's the way you can kind of look at it, because, well, there's something going on, someone tell you not to look at it, the first thing you do is you look at it. So that kind of put your attention on this painting, and that give Campbell just a little bit of character. You know, he's an upright soldier kind of character, and he's an overseer, which you later know about him. Then after that, you walked up a little bit more, you know, approaching the Empress Jasmine. You know, you come across the sinister looking royal spy master. That is so sinister looking to the point of like his character design and the way he talks, and everything about him kind of ooze out like this guy can't be trusted. You know, he kind of reminded me a lot of Scar from Lion King. If any of you watched Lion King back in the day, he have a lot of those characterization. You know, you can't trust him. You know, he have a lot of plan, and this guy's bad business, and you don't want to get involved with him. And there's also a really nice touch if you follow the royal spy master out of the small upper area that they're in. You know, on his way out, he tell the guard on the post with the empress, right, to leave the post. You know, he tell him, yeah, come with me, get out of here, right?
Corvo, 2 days early, full of surprises, as usual.
Should be gather for whiskey and cigars tonight? Indeed, I believe so.
Follow me, Captain. We should leave them alone.
And that kind of implied to kind of what gonna happening next, right? Because, well, he actually have some plan going on and something is going down. So if you as a player don't trust him, if your first instinct is not to trust him, you might follow him a little bit and you get this nice little Easter egg kind of implication that something is going bad, something is going wrong. And that's kind of cool that the game just put that there, and a lot of player probably is gonna miss it. So it's really cool that it's there. People probably miss it, but it's cool. It's really Dishonored type of design to have something that most player probably not gonna see, and you might play countless time and stumble upon it and it feel pretty awesome that, well, that actually exists and that actually works. And after that, okay, you approach the Empress, right? Empress Jessamine, you give her the letter, and you know that kind of explained the whole rat plague situation that is going worse every day in Dunwall, and it has been kind of like a bigger problem every day.
I hoped that one of the other cities had dealt with this before, knew of some cure. This news is very bad. We're at the breaking point. Cowards. They're going to blockade us. They'll wait to see if the plague turns the city into a graveyard.
Are you okay, Mother? You seem sad.
Yes, don't worry, darling. Mother is fine.
And all of a sudden there's these assassins storming the castle, and the game flip into gameplay mode. The camera point you toward the assassin, you kind of draw out your sword and your gun, you start shooting some of them, you start blocking their attack with the tutorial teaching you how to do it, and attacking all those enemies and start fighting them off. Eventually, the game cut into like a small cutscene where you lose the fight against Dao, who murdered the Empress and took away her daughter, Emily.
Not again!
Mommy!
No! Get away from her! Corvo!
Mommy! Get away!
Corvo! It's all coming apart. Find Emily. Protect her. You're the only one. You'll know what to do. Won't you? Corvo.
Ward us all. Look at what he's done.
Yes, he's killed the Empress. What did you do with young Lady Emily, traitor?
Her own bodyguard. Ironic.
I'll see you beheaded for this, Corvo. Take him.
So the goal of the game suddenly become clear after that. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on, and by the time the Dishonored title show, a lot of stuff happened. You know, first off, the rat plague is going on, the Empress has been murdered, and Emily has been taken, the Empress daughter has been taken. Corvo is blamed for everything, you know, because, well, Roy's Spy Master just come up as soon after that and blame you for what happened. We also have the environmental storytelling of the whole whale thing. You know, we don't know what they are yet, but we kind of have some idea that there's whale hunting going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on within the game just as soon as the game kick off within the prologue of the game. And in many ways, some movie critique, or you think of this as a form of writing, you know, maybe too many stuff is going on for a movie and stuff like that. But for a video game, this gives you a lot of option and open the developer to more area of design that they can kind of tackle into, right? They can design a lot of stuff, design the world, design a lot of crazy stuff within the game. And it also gives play a lot of mission. You know, you want to stop the plague, you want to save Emily, you want to revenge for Jessamine, and you want to be honor back. You know, you don't want to be dishonored for a crime that you didn't commit, and you want to find out more about this whole whale hunting and the stuff that's going on in Dunwall. So the game set off a lot of crazy stuff. When the title hit, you know, there's a lot of shit going on, and you have to do a lot of stuff now. So it's actually interesting. The game started off really quickly, and it's kind of awesome when you think about it. You know, they all just kind of colliding into one huge mess. Like I said, in terms of writing, that's probably not very good, but in terms of game design, I think that's good, because that gives you a lot of room to explore, a lot of room room to design, a lot of room to create things and engaging gameplay for the player. And like I always say, Dishonored is a game about gameplay first. So I feel like these stories are written in such a way that they give room for developer to make interesting gameplay and don't have to compromise the gameplay in order to serve the stories. And that's a really interesting way to look at game design. I know a lot of people have different ways to look at it. Some players focus more on story, some focus more on gameplay, some try to mix the both of them. So at least by the time the prologue ends, you know a lot of stuff is going down and you are ready to go into the game. The music kick in, you have a lot of mission to do, and there's a lot of stuff that is going down. So yeah, that's the first level of Dishonored. Very crazy, impactful level. It starts off really slow, you know, but you slowly learn more about stuff, you know, through exposition, environmental storytelling, and some of the stuff that just happened right in front of you. And some of the stuff just happened right under your nose, right? You know, like the whole Royal Spy Master conspiring against you, you know. The developer actually put that within the game for you to notice, and a lot of people probably didn't notice it. So yeah, that's my video. Hope you guys like it. I would try to, as best as I can, to put out as much as I can, you know, as much video as I can and as much content as I can. And I know that this level by level analysis is gonna take a lot of time, so bear with me. You know, I'm gonna try my best to make it until the end of the game before Dishonored to come out, which is gonna be a tough mission that I will try to do for you guys. And yeah, thank you for watching and see you guys next video.